AGS Ultimage, brought to you by Essential Oils and Essences. Infuse your environment with their natural Reiki and crystal-infused Yogini Girl essential oil sprays to lift the energy of your space and body. Available in 4 unique scents: invigorating citrus and herb bliss, soothing floral calm, intoxicating and sensual love, and classic clearing. Try one today.
Hey Taurus, this is Hal for HES Ultimage, and this is your channeled forecast for the month of January. Hey guys, for personal readings, you can go to hesultimage.com, spelled just like the channel. I do personal readings. They start at just $20, and I do them both through email and through Skype. All right, let's get started here with your message. All right, so starting off, changing conditions is going to be one of the running themes of this month. And I literally got outgrowing something you were taught because something must change. Okay, and I'm going to broaden this a little bit because I know that this was coming through some of it too. Very strongly held beliefs, okay? So if you always thought something would be a particular way, and then it's changing, that you can't fight that change or try and control it, okay? I can give some examples later on, but I do want to make sure that I do the rest of the bullet points before I start, getting into those examples. But, other than just maybe something like a concept that you were taught or something like that, or a, belief such as, any kind of maybe social belief, religious belief, whatever, or, even science changes, which is really weird, but, Pluto was a planet and then it wasn't a planet. It could be that kind of thing too. Can function on multiple levels, but also strongly held beliefs. Like if you were expecting one person to be a certain way and then they change, or if you expected that, somebody would always be around and then they disappear, that you'll have to work with that too. Okay, all right, moving forward with your bullet points. Risk changing in order to be more social. All right, so this is like another faction kind of, it's a little bit tied here. And find a new ideal scenario, okay? So this is like kind of going into a different area that's going to be symptomatic of this. I might have to touch on this more towards the end because I feel like this is more reactive for the month. This concept is about, because of the fact that you need to change with your circumstances, that somehow connecting more to people or being in more social activities or environments, whether that's even maybe joining some form of group or structure, or even just getting out a little more and, okay, I would say spreading around your options a little more might also be really beneficial this month, and it will, but it's again, it's somehow symptomatic of what you're going through with the other things. All right, I'm going to keep going through the bullet points because I know these all come together and I'm starting to feel them coming. Okay, and there's a challenge element, and that is you need to stop overthinking if you are frustrated with the situation, okay? If something is different and you are trying to stop it from changing, you are only delaying the inevitable. If you are trying to influence the situation, you will be making yourself blind to the circumstances, okay? So this is about ignoring the fact that we all play, a certain role in a bigger picture. All right, and I'm gonna try and go into this, as much as I can, because I can already feel that this is going to be something very delicate that I can't give too many deep specifics of, or be very careful about how I give them. All right, so basically, this is a scenario where somebody or something is changing its direction, and you're going to try and influence it by getting your hands really deeply involved. And you're going to try, okay, we're going to say this one person is a chess piece, and they want to move in this direction, and you're going to try and either force them to stay in their own place or make them move in this direction. At the end of the day, we cannot control, people try and control. And I say we always trigger each other and things like that, but we cannot control the destination of where somebody Okay. Where somebody else's piece is going to go if it's not meant to go in that direction, okay? So that means, okay, there are times when our influence matters, and I usually highlight that. Okay, this month for Taurus, your influence is not counting for very much. And the way you're trying to, okay, the way you're trying to apply your influence over another person or situation in January can be very tricky, okay? And it can be something that you're trying to control it, and then it winds up happening in a way that you don't want it to anyhow. Okay, so you're going to just, okay, I have to put it this way. You're going to have to accept that some things are not going to happen the way you want them to, and then move forward and move on. Okay, and become encouraged for things that are going to happen later on, okay? You can't control what's going to happen in January, so you need to let go, okay? And I can tell that this is a very delicate situation and that I can't get too deeply embroiled in examples, but that was the example I'm giving you. So if you see that somebody's chess piece or your chess piece even is being placed into a new area, even if you go kicking and screaming, it's going to be exactly where it needs to be in January, okay? Try and be cool about it, okay? That's all I can really say. I mean, I know it's hard when things don't go your way, but in January, it's kind of the elixir at the end of the day. All right, next. Trying to be naive towards a situation is no good. This is a choice, okay? This is the other thing. All right. Okay, I'm allowed to give examples about this. So here we go. If somebody says, I don't want to, okay, I'm just going to throw this out there. If somebody says that they want their life to go in a different direction, and you go, oh no, I'm just gonna say that they're lying, they're going through a phase, they don't mean that, whatever, whatever. That's trying to hold yourself in suspension from truth, okay? And that's no good and that's not helpful, especially in January, okay? For Taurus. So you need to be able to take things at the value of the moment and for the truth that it represents within that moment, okay? And that's all it can be. Okay, so you can't just go, I'm going to censor what I'm receiving and say, in this case, I'm going to ignore the information or advice I'm receiving in order to see things my own way. All right? So in this case, you really have to be able to just take in the information and accept it for what it is, instead of trying to censor it over yourself and go, I'm going to pick and choose the information that I receive, okay? And pick and choose what I'm going to accept, all right? Information is valuable this month, okay? And seeing the writing on the wall is valuable this month, okay, Taurus? So you need to be able to take in that information, digest it, and go, okay, all right, what are we doing next? All right, here we go. You must persevere. And I use this phrase, roll with the punches. I don't think they're necessarily always going to be a punch, so to speak. It might be more like a jab, where it's not such a big deal and it doesn't hurt, it's just trivial. For different people, this is going to function on different levels. Yeah. When things need to change. Now, this means from a very broad and very large perspective, like when things in the world need to change, when things in a person's life need to change in order to make them who they have to become later. And I literally got, even if you don't want them to change in the way that they're going to, this is a part of life. And to understand that how we feel is a tiny, and I got microscopic part of the big picture and big equation, understanding that it's only a tiny part and that our feelings towards the changes are just a tiny part will be incredibly useful in January for you guys, okay? And then I got being one person does not give us free reign over any outcome. All right? So just because we are who we are doesn't mean that we can control what's going to happen whenever we want it to. And again, to me, it goes back to the movie analogy where it's like, in a movie, everything that the person wants can happen, with whatever circumstances, just because they forced it enough or pushed it enough. There are occasionally those movies where the person gets disappointed and then becomes wiser and stronger, and that's a little bit more true to life, I think. And sometimes you get what you want, but in January, something's going to be happening that you didn't want to happen, and it's important for you to remember that this is a bigger thing than just you and than just what you want, okay? So if you can see that in January, it's going to make life so much easier, okay? And then, from then moving forward, we can focus on other things, okay? All right, so that said, Taurus, I wish you a resilient January and a very open-minded January to see that even if things don't go the way you want them to, or, move in the direction you want them to, in the big picture, everything works out exactly as it needs to, okay? That said, I'll see you later.